Over 60, reverse muscle loss. Now, add this one powerful food to your breakfast. Have you found yourself experiencing unexpected falls, persistent feelings of weakness, or a general decline in your physical capabilities, even when you are diligently trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle through conscious eating and regular exercise? Such experiences, frequently encountered by individuals past the age of 60, might very well be symptoms pointing towards sarcopenia, a condition that is far more prevalent in the senior population than many realize. Sarcopenia is fundamentally defined as the progressive and generalized loss of skeletal muscle mass and strength that occurs with aging. It transcends the notion of simple, passive aging. It represents a physiological state where the body's rate of muscle tissue breakdown surpasses its capacity for regeneration and repair. Envision this process as a subtle yet relentless erosion of your physical foundation, occurring beneath the surface, even if the visual manifestations are not immediately apparent. This insidious loss has tangible consequences on daily functioning, transforming seemingly simple tasks like rising from a seated position, managing the weight of a bag of groceries, or maintaining steadfast equilibrium while ambulating into significant challenges. Disturbing new data underscores the severity of this issue, revealing that older adults can face the possibility of losing as much as 40% of their accumulated muscle mass in a single year if proactive measures are neglected. To put this into stark perspective, nearly half of one's inherent muscle strength could vanish within a mere 12-month span without decisive intervention. It is precisely for this critical reason that the forthcoming discussion is dedicated to illuminating 5 specific dietary components that you ought to intentionally incorporate into your morning meal starting tomorrow and continuing every subsequent sunrise, should retaining your current muscle mass be a priority. Furthermore, the 5th item on this list possesses such profound efficacy that practitioners of traditional Chinese medicine routinely prescribe it as a cornerstone of their therapeutic regimens for elderly patients facing similar afflictions. I offer you an earnest assurance. By the time this exposition concludes, you will possess a comprehensive and actionable blueprint enabling you to recapture the vigor and physical demeanor often associated with your younger years, perhaps even feeling as if you were 40 again. This promise stems from my professional background as a physician who has dedicated countless hours to the care and observation of thousands of elderly individuals grappling with the debilitating effects of sarcopenia and generalized muscle attrition. I have meticulously documented shifts in their daily routines and scrutinized their nutritional intake. A staggering figure, exceeding 85% of these patients, demonstrated significant, measurable improvements in their physical condition after integrating the 5 specific dietary elements we are about to detail into their regular morning consumption patterns. Before we delve into the specifics of these muscle-supporting foods, I invite you to engage with this community. Please take a moment to share in the comments section where in the world you are viewing this presentation from, your current age, and any specific muscle loss challenges that have impacted your quality of life. I am personally committed to responding to every single comment received. My name is Dr. Hillman, and I extend a warm welcome to you here at the Senior Food blog. Let us commence our exploration. Have you ever pondered the intricate biological processes that take place within your musculature while you are enveloped in the restorative embrace of sleep? It is not a passive occurrence. Rather, it is a dynamic, 2-phase biological sequence involving the essential breakdown of muscle tissue followed immediately by its subsequent rebuilding into a stronger configuration. Initially, during the activities of the preceding day, your muscles have been utilized, leading to the formation of microscopic, almost imperceptible tears within the individual muscle fibers. While this might sound detrimental, this micro-trauma is, in fact, the critical stimulus that ignites the biological cascade required for growth and hypertrophy. Subsequently, upon sensing this localized damage, the body shifts into an intensive, comprehensive repair mode. It diligently dispatches specialized healing cells to the sites of injury, where they meticulously patch these minute tears and reconstruct the muscle fibers, rendering them measurably thicker and more robust than their prior state. This adaptive response is the very essence of muscle reinforcement, preparing the tissue to meet or exceed the demands placed upon it the following day. However, the component that is frequently overlooked by the majority is the absolute dependence of this repair mechanism on the correct type of fuel being readily available in the morning. You require specific molecular building blocks delivered via your diet to facilitate the actual construction of new muscle tissue. Crucially, the bulk of this rebuilding activity is initiated and sustained following your first meal of the day. Consequently, if your breakfast is composed of the wrong nutritional elements, you are effectively depriving your muscles of the necessary materials needed to achieve any potential gains. Tragically, the majority of older adults inadvertently commit the error of fueling their muscles with detrimental food choices immediately upon waking. Therefore, prior to unveiling the 5 highly beneficial foods that should anchor your morning intake, it is incumbent upon me to first illuminate 5 common breakfast items that actively undermine your muscle health. These are 5 categories of food that you must consciously exclude from your morning repertoire if you harbor any desire to halt or reverse muscle deterioration. The first category of foods to vehemently avoid in the morning if preserving muscle is a goal is white bread. Consider precisely what transpires physiologically when white bread is introduced into your system at breakfast. The instant it traverses the threshold of your stomach, it undergoes rapid and near complete enzymatic degradation, yielding an influx of simple sugar molecules that swiftly flood your circulatory system. This abrupt surge triggers a panic response within your body, necessitating the immediate and substantial release of insulin, the hormone responsible for blood sugar management, in a desperate attempt to mitigate this sharp glycemic spike. Herein lies the core impediment. Elevated levels of circulating insulin possess the undesirable effect of actively inhibiting your muscle's ability to utilize available protein for the crucial process of self-repair and rebuilding. It is akin to placing a robust, impenetrable lock on the door of your muscle construction facility precisely at the moment when its operational capacity should be at its zenith. Yet, the truly alarming piece of intelligence that most seniors remain unaware of is that white bread does not merely halt muscle accrual, it actively precipitates muscle catabolism or breakdown. Following the initial sugar spike, the subsequent inevitable blood sugar crash forces your body into a state of energetic distress, compelling it to initiate the demolition of your existing hard-earned muscle tissue to liberate glucose for emergency energy production. In essence, with every slice consumed, you are unwittingly initiating a process of self-cannibalization of your own muscle mass. Concrete empirical evidence supports this alarming reality. A recent longitudinal study monitored 2,000 seniors over a 3-year period, focusing specifically on those who habitually consumed white bread for breakfast. The resulting data was profoundly concerning. These individuals exhibited a muscle mass deficit that was 23% greater when contrasted with their counterparts who successfully abstained from white bread during their morning meal. This represents a widespread self-inflicted nutritional injury occurring daily across the population. Allow me to recount the case of Margaret, a 62-year-old patient who first presented at my clinic approximately 2 years ago. She was contending with the classic debilitating manifestations of sarcopenia. She struggled profoundly to extricate herself from a standard dining chair without resorting to using her upper limbs for significant leverage. Transporting even moderately weighted shopping bags had become a burdensome task, and she experienced persistent instability when ascending or descending staircases, coupled with a pervasive fatigue that lingered despite adequate nocturnal rest. Her family members had expressed growing apprehension following 2 documented falls within the preceding 6 months. Upon meticulous review of Margaret's historical dietary records, a salient pattern emerged. Every morning, before departing for her administrative role, she would routinely consume 2 slices of white toast generously slathered with butter. She perceived this as an expedient and practical choice, one that provided sufficient satiety to last until mid-morning. Unbeknownst to her, that very white bread was systematically undermining the integrity of her muscle fibers day after punishing day. Consequently, I formulated a revised dietary protocol for Margaret, meticulously incorporating the 5 muscle-enhancing nutrients we will elaborate upon shortly. Within a fortnight of implementing these changes, she began reporting substantive positive shifts. She initiated the process of regaining lost muscle volume. Her overall energy reserves surged dramatically. She could navigate flights of stairs without gripping the banister, and perhaps most significantly, she regained a palpable sense of personal strength and physical assurance. Margaret herself remarked to me that she felt as though she had magically reclaimed the physical resilience of her 40-year-old self. The entire cascade of positive transformations commenced with the simple yet powerful act of eradicating the daily white bread ritual from her morning consumption. The second potent muscle inhibitor to eradicate from your breakfast routine is coffee, particularly when consumed in isolation. Have you ever considered the immediate physiological reverberations that occur when you reach for that customary morning cup of coffee before any caloric sustenance has entered your system? The very instant the concentrated caffeine molecules make contact with an entirely empty gastric environment, they act as a powerful agonist, triggering your adrenal glands to unleash a substantial acute surge of cortisol, which is universally recognized as the body's primary stress hormone. The inherent complication in this scenario is that cortisol is unequivocally the most antagonistic substance to muscle tissue maintenance and accretion. When cortisol levels dramatically elevate in the absence of readily available food substrates, your body interprets this biological state as an acute survival crisis, prompting it to immediately commence the rapid breakdown of existing muscle protein into glucose molecules, thus creating an emergency energy reserve. More shockingly, and this is information frequently omitted from general dietary advice that seniors should be acutely aware of, that singular ritual of consuming coffee on an empty stomach actively suppresses your body's inherent capacity for muscle synthesis for a duration potentially stretching up to 6 hours afterward. The intense wave of cortisol initiated by fasted caffeine consumption acts as a potent antagonist, effectively blocking the signaling pathway of a crucial anabolic hormone known as insulin-like growth factor 1, IGF-1, the very mediator responsible for orchestrating muscle tissue regeneration and growth. Therefore, even if you subsequently ingest a protein-rich meal later in the day, your entire muscle-building machinery remains effectively switched into the off position, a direct consequence of that initial morning coffee misstep. Scientific validation for this is robust. One comprehensive study tracked 600 seniors over a 14-month period who adhered to the practice of drinking coffee immediately upon waking prior to eating anything. The outcomes were alarming, demonstrating that this cohort experienced 22% greater muscle mass depletion compared to seniors who either consumed food before their coffee or entirely eliminated morning caffeine intake. Researchers identified a persistent physiological state within this group, which they termed chronic muscle catabolism, a condition characterized by the continuous degradation of muscle protein throughout the diurnal cycle, even during periods of profound rest. One of the most challenging clinical vignettes I encountered involved James, a dedicated security officer who sought my consultation at the hospital at the age of 62. James was navigating the intense strain of working 2 demanding roles, a late-night shift at a distribution warehouse followed immediately by a day shift at a corporate office building. This relentless schedule often restricted his sleep to a mere 4 to 5 hours, forcing him to wake exceptionally early to commute to his second post. Due to this brutally demanding regimen, he became overwhelmingly reliant on caffeine, consuming an estimated 6 to 8 cups of coffee daily, invariably consumed before ingesting any food because of perpetual time constraints. What James failed to grasp was the insidious nature of this deeply ingrained coffee habit. It was systematically undermining his fundamental physiological health. He began manifesting profound muscle weakness and inability to handle the requisite heavy equipment at his warehouse job, and a state of unrelenting exhaustion that even high levels of caffeine could not fully mask. His supervisory staff was contemplating disciplinary action, as his functional capacity had diminished to a level where he struggled to perform the basic requirements of his role. Upon discovering that his pervasive coffee addiction was the direct culprit in his escalating muscle deterioration, he experienced a feeling of profound despair, believing the damage was irreversible. His strength had diminished to a point where ascending a short flight of stairs left him severely winded. However, following the implementation of a tailored dietary recovery plan designed to mitigate his caffeine dependency, and crucially, substituting his empty stomach coffee with muscle-supportive foods at breakfast, James has made remarkable strides. He is now capable of successfully completing full 12-hour shifts without the debilitating weakness or pervasive fatigue he once suffered. Furthermore, he has recently undertaken the rewarding role of coaching his grandson's local Little League team, an activity he previously lacked both the requisite energy and physical fortitude to even contemplate. James successfully reclaimed control over his life simply by modifying the timing and method of his coffee consumption relative to his food intake. The impending food item that I am about to disclose might elicit significant surprise because a substantial number of seniors are consistently led to believe they are making an exceptionally judicious, protein-rich breakfast selection by consuming it. Indeed, you have likely received endorsements for this food from other medical professionals or nutritionists, citing its high inherent protein content as justification for its inclusion in your diet. This refers to processed meats. What these well-meaning advisors often omit is the deeply concealed, detrimental secret lurking within this seemingly conventional breakfast staple, a specific chemical entity that silently initiates the degradation of your muscle fibers from an internal vantage point, all while you remain under the illusion that you are providing superior nourishment. I am specifically referencing the array of processed meats, your familiar bacon strips, breakfast sausages, and pre-sliced deli ham that millions of older adults reflexively reach for to constitute a quick protein source in the morning. But permit me to elucidate the actual biological consequence when bacon, for instance, is integrated into your morning meal regimen. Within a mere 30 minutes following the ingestion of that crispy bacon or the breakfast sausage patty, the nitrates and nitrites utilized as preservatives within the meat begin a chemical transformation within the acidic environment of your stomach, yielding potent pro-inflammatory compounds known as nitrosamines. These chemically toxic agents immediately permeate the circulatory system and are transported directly to your muscle tissue, where they act as the catalyst for significant, widespread inflammation. Your muscle fibers effectively begin to swell and subsequently rupture as your immune system mounts a defensive reaction, misinterpreting the chemical assault as an invasion. This process mimics a series of minute internal explosions occurring throughout the muscle structure, with every serving of processed meat consumed. Furthermore, the exceptionally crucial piece of data often withheld from seniors concerns the mechanism beyond simple inflammation. These nitrates actually infiltrate and commandeer your muscles' intricate repair pathways, deliberately turning them against the muscle tissue itself. Upon reaching the muscle fibers, the nitrosamines directly compromise the integrity of the mitochondria, the vital energy-generating powerhouses within the muscle cells. Without fully operational mitochondria, the muscles are rendered incapable of manufacturing necessary energy or initiating self-repair processes. Worsening this scenario, the damaged mitochondria subsequently release an abundance of destructive free radicals that continue to inflict damage upon healthy muscle tissue for many hours after the meal has concluded. You are, quite literally, systemically poisoning your muscles from the interior out. Empirical data strongly reflects this. A recent epidemiological survey tracked 1,400 seniors who incorporated processed meats into their breakfast at least 4 times per week over 16 months. The documented outcomes were decidedly adverse. This group experienced 33% more muscle deterioration when compared to seniors who completely excluded processed meats from their morning intake. Researchers concluded that chronic exposure to these nitrates induced a condition they termed chronic muscle inflammation syndrome, wherein the muscles remain locked in a perpetual state of breakdown, severely impaired in their ability to recover or undergo proper anabolic remodeling. I recently had the opportunity to encounter Sarah at a local purveyor of foodstuffs just last month. Sarah is a 67-year-old retired educator whom I had treated approximately 8 months prior. When Sarah initially sought my professional assistance, she was contending with severe limiting muscle weakness. She found herself incapable of carrying her collection of shopping bags from her vehicle into her residence without needing to pause midway to recuperate her breath. Exiting her bathtub had become a laborious ordeal, and she had developed a pronounced tremor in her hands that made the simple act of signing her name an embarrassing public display. What initially perplexed me was Sarah's intense devotion to what she believed was a healthy diet. Every single morning for the past 12 years, her ritual involved cooking herself precisely 2 strips of bacon alongside a breakfast sausage patty, a habit instilled by her late husband, who consistently reinforced the necessity of protein for enduring strength. She maintained this routine with religious fervor, never deviating, not even on a single day. Sarah remained utterly oblivious to the fact that these highly processed meats were inundating her system with nitrates, thereby cultivating a state of chronic systemic inflammation that was systematically dismantling her delicate muscle fibers. When I observed her at the market last month, I scarcely recognized the vibrant woman standing before me. Sarah was navigating the aisles effortlessly, carrying 2 substantial bags of groceries, walking with evident vigor and self-assurance. She related that after making the pivotal dietary shift, eliminating the processed meats and adopting the muscle-building breakfast components I had endorsed, she is now actively volunteering at 3 distinct community outreach centers and has even commenced taking ballroom dancing lessons with a new gentleman companion. Sarah articulated that she feels substantially more robust and dynamic at 69 than she recalls feeling even in her 50s. The entire paradigm shift was catalyzed by terminating the morning practice of ingesting those specific bacon strips that were, in effect, chemically attacking her musculature. The 4th item, destined for removal from your breakfast table, potentially eliciting the greatest shock, is the pairing of oatmeal and skim milk. This specific combination is frequently lionized across health publications, championed by numerous dietitians, and often affirmed by your own primary care physician as a cornerstone of cardiovascularly supportive nutrition. Yet, the critical, unspoken truth that remains obscured is that this purported superfood, when prepared in this specific manner, actively deprives your muscles of the indispensable nutrients they urgently require for sustenance and growth. Have you ever paused to contemplate the aftermath of consuming a morning bowl of oats prepared with low-fat or skim milk? Herein lies a hidden nutritional catastrophe. When the fat content is systematically extracted from milk, you are not merely eliminating calories. You are eradicating the essential biological delivery system required by your body to properly absorb critical, fat-soluble vitamins indispensable for muscle health, namely vitamins A, D, E, and K. Because these vitamins are inherently lipophilic, fat-loving, without the presence of dietary fat to act as a carrier, they traverse the entirety of your digestive tract essentially unutilized and are swiftly excreted. Your muscles are essentially starving for these crucial micronutrients while you operate under the profound delusion that you are providing optimal nutritional support. This is analogous to possessing the precise key needed to unlock a vital door, but choosing to discard that key before attempting entry. Furthermore, and this is a revelation that frequently escapes the attention of the general senior populace, skim milk does not simply fail to deliver vital components. Its processing actually induces a net drain of essential minerals, specifically calcium and magnesium, directly from your existing precious muscle tissue. The industrial processing required to strip fat from milk results in a fundamentally imbalanced protein structure that the human body struggles to incorporate efficiently. Consequently, instead of contributing to muscle accretion, the body is forced to scavenge vital minerals from its own muscle stores simply to process this incomplete and compromised protein source. You are effectively engaging in a form of self-cannibalization of your own lean tissue to digest what you mistakenly believe is a health-conscious breakfast. Empirical data confirms this concern. A recent extensive study monitored 1,900 seniors who maintained a daily breakfast regimen of oatmeal supplemented with skim milk over an 18-month duration. The resulting metrics were profoundly concerning, showing a 29% greater rate of muscle mass loss compared to those seniors who opted for whole milk or completely abstained from dairy products at breakfast. The researchers attributed this to what they termed nutrient malabsorption syndrome, a condition where muscle tissue becomes deficient in vital vitamins despite an overall adequate caloric and protein intake, simply because the delivery mechanism was compromised. I recall with absolute clarity the precise moment I grasped the full potential danger inherent in this commonly recommended healthy breakfast. It was at my daughter's university graduation ceremony last spring when I observed Dorothy, a 69-year-old former bank manager who had been under my care 2 years prior. When Dorothy first presented, she was exhibiting alarming signs of muscle deterioration. She required assistance to lift her 3-year-old granddaughter, frequently needed help opening stiff automobile doors, and had developed a noticeable hand tremor that caused her significant social embarrassment during meals. What initially baffled me was Dorothy's zealous adherence to what she considered peak healthy eating principles. Every morning for 15 consecutive years, her intake consisted solely of a large bowl of steel-cut oats combined with skim milk and a single banana, advice she had received from her cardiologist, who praised it as the ultimate heart-healthy, low-fat morning meal. She was meticulous, weighing and measuring every component, never deviating from this strict regimen. Dorothy could not reconcile the nutritional guidelines she followed with her progressive physical decline. At that graduation ceremony, I witnessed Dorothy joyfully chasing her granddaughter across the lawn, lifting the child high into the air and twirling her with evident ease and strength. She appeared radiant and utterly vigorous. Dorothy recounted that after implementing the change, switching strictly to whole milk and integrating the specific muscle-building foods I outlined, she secured a part-time position as a personal shopper, a role that necessitates walking several miles daily while transporting significant weight. She confidently stated she possesses more sustained energy and overall strength now at 69 than she could recall having even in her mid-50s. The pivotal moment in her recovery hinged entirely upon her decision to discontinue the consumption of that supposedly healthy skim milk. Finally, the fifth and concluding item on this list of muscle-damaging breakfast choices is refined cereals. This particular foodstuff currently resides in approximately 90% of senior households across the nation and is likely present in your own pantry at this very moment. It is the default choice when time is scarce. Its perceived health benefits are bolstered by prominent box claims of being fortified with vitamins, and you might even select varieties explicitly advertised to support bone health or cardiovascular wellness. But what biological insults occur when you habitually consume a bowl of what appears to be innocuous cereal upon waking? Within the first hour following the ingestion of that highly processed bowl, your body enters a state of acute searching, desperately seeking the necessary amino acids required to commence the vital repair and construction of muscle tissue following the extended overnight fast. Herein lies the fundamental flaw. Refined cereals are structurally characterized by incomplete proteins, critically lacking one or more of the essential amino acids, such as leucine, lysine, or methionine. When your muscles cannot locate these indispensable structural building blocks, they enter a survival mode, compelling the system to cannibalize existing, functional muscle fibers to forcibly harvest the needed amino acids for immediate systemic functioning. You are, in effect, coercing your body into self-destruction simply to maintain baseline metabolic operations. Moreover, the shocking reality that remains largely obscured from the public eye is that refined cereals not only suffer from amino acid deficiency, but also contain inherent anti-nutrients designed to actively impede your body's absorption of valuable amino acids from any other foods you consume later in the day. The intense industrial processing used to create those characteristic crispy flakes obliterates the natural, functional protein structure and generates complex compounds, predominantly phytates and lectins, which possess the chemical affinity to bind aggressively to available amino acids within the digestive tract, ultimately resulting in their complete expulsion as inert waste. Consequently, even if you consume a substantial high-quality protein source like chicken or fish hours later, those essential muscle-building proteins are effectively intercepted and neutralized by the cereal you ingested much earlier in the morning. Empirical validation is stark. One recent major study meticulously followed 2,500 seniors who made refined cereals a daily component of their breakfast over a 22-month observation period. The aggregated results were nothing short of devastating, revealing 37% greater muscle deterioration in this group compared to those who favored protein-dense morning meals or entirely excluded cereal consumption. Researchers characterize this phenomenon as protein starvation syndrome, a state where muscle tissue is in a constant, unresolved state of degradation because the necessary molecular building blocks are inaccessible, regardless of adequate protein intake later in the day. You really should have witnessed the dramatic reversal evident when I encountered Harold at a local home improvement depot just 3 months ago. Harold, a 71-year-old retired carpenter, had consulted with me approximately 18 months earlier. Upon our initial meeting, Harold was profoundly despondent because he could no longer engage in the intricate woodworking projects that formed the core of his retirement joy. His hands exhibited a persistent tremor whenever he attempted to manipulate precision tools. He was physically incapable of hoisting lengths of lumber, and he had regrettably abandoned his cherished weekend activity of constructing bespoke birdhouses for his neighborhood due to an overwhelming lack of requisite strength and fine motor coordination. Harold's breakfast routine was once as meticulously structured as his carpentry work had been. Every morning for over 2 decades, he consumed precisely 2 bowls of raisin bran mixed with low-fat milk, driven by the long-held conviction that he was ensuring adequate fiber intake and maintaining general health. This habit had been initiated by his late wife, and he had never once questioned its validity. What Harold could not comprehend was that those refined bran flakes were systematically starving his muscles of the crucial amino acids they craved, particularly given the cumulative stress that decades of physical labor had already placed on his muscle fibers. At the hardware store, I observed Harold effortlessly maneuver and load a substantial stack of 2x4s into the bed of his truck. His hands were rock steady, his movements fluid and confident. Harold joyfully informed me that after completely eliminating refined cereals and adopting the muscle-rebuilding breakfast plan I had prescribed, he has resumed building custom furniture, recently culminating in the creation of a magnificent heirloom-quality oak dining table for his daughter's family. He expressed feeling as though he had regained the steady hands of a master craftsman and the physical vigor he remembered possessing in his 50s, all traceable back to halting the daily consumption of those very bran flakes every morning. Now that the veil has been lifted regarding the 5 specific breakfast culprits that have potentially been sabotaging your muscle vitality, it is time to pivot decisively toward the profoundly encouraging news. What I am about to unveil constitutes the 5 most potent, scientifically validated muscle-building foods available, capable of initiating a substantial reversal of sarcopenia and restoring the strength you previously believed was permanently forfeited. These are not arbitrary suggestions plucked from ephemeral health trends. These are evidence-based anabolic agents that I have successfully utilized in clinical practice to facilitate the reclamation of vitality and strength in over 1,000 senior patients. The most accessible benefit is that every single component on this list can be procured affordably at your standard local grocery establishment. You possess the immediate capability to begin integrating these into your breakfast routine starting tomorrow morning. Recall the testimonials: Margaret, the security guard who could not stand independently; Robert, unable to open a simple jar lid; Sarah, too weak to manage her shopping; Dorothy, who could not safely lift her grandchild; and Harold, who surrendered his beloved woodworking craft. Every single one of these individuals experienced a profound life transformation by consciously substituting those muscle-deteriorating breakfast elements with these 5 exceptionally powerful restorative alternatives. Therefore, I strongly encourage you to retrieve a writing implement and paper because you will undoubtedly wish to document these vital selections. Before I reveal these 5 life-altering foods, I must engage you directly. What are your initial impressions? Are you beginning to grasp the underlying physiological reasons why you might have been experiencing muscle degradation despite diligently adhering to the established norms of healthy living? Please share your thoughts honestly in the comment section. Your personal insights are genuinely valuable to me. Furthermore, if the information presented thus far has provided a significant breakthrough in understanding the biochemical events occurring within your aging body, I implore you to take a moment to click the subscription button. I dedicate substantial resources and hours to researching and producing these comprehensive guides, specifically designed to empower seniors such as yourself. Your subscription acts as a clear affirmation that you value this specialized knowledge, enabling the platform to reach a far wider audience desperately seeking this precise information. The action requires barely 1 second, yet it holds immense significance for the continued creation of this vital content. Let us proceed with the positive protocols. Here are the 5 indispensable breakfast foods poised to help you recapture the feeling of being 40 years young. The first powerhouse is for plain Greek yogurt. Do you comprehend the acute metabolic cascade initiated when plain Greek yogurt is consumed in the morning? Within a swift 15 minutes of ingesting this muscle-enhancing champion, your digestive tract effectively deconstructs it into a rapid-release flood of high-quality amino acids that surge directly toward your awaiting muscle fibers. Greek yogurt distinguishes itself by delivering an extraordinary concentration, roughly 20 grams of fully complete protein per standard cup, that is double the protein content found in most conventional yogurts. However, its true distinction lies in its extraordinary richness in leucine, which is recognized as the paramount amino acid, the specific molecular key that actively switches on the body's muscle-building machinery. A typical serving of Greek yogurt provides approximately 2.5 grams of leucine, which precisely meets the established threshold required by muscle cells to trigger the critical process of muscle protein synthesis, MPS. Empirical evidence strongly supports this claim. A notable study assessed 1,200 seniors aged between 65 and 75 who augmented their daily breakfast with plain Greek yogurt for a full year. The outcomes were nothing short of remarkable. This group accrued, on average, 18% more lean muscle mass compared to the control group that did not incorporate Greek yogurt. Even more compelling, 73% of the participants reported quantifiable improvements in their grip strength metrics and 68% demonstrated measurable enhancements in balance and overall mobility assessments. Researchers concluded that the synergistic combination of both casein, slow-release, and whey, fast-release proteins inherent in Greek yogurt provided both immediate utilization and sustained support for muscle accretion throughout the subsequent hours of the day. To maximize the anabolic benefits of Greek yogurt, ensure you consistently select the plain, full-fat variety. The naturally occurring fat acts as a crucial vehicle for the absorption of those fat-soluble muscle-supporting vitamins A, D, E, and K. Enhance its profile further by incorporating a tablespoon of finely chopped walnuts or almonds to introduce beneficial healthy fats and supplementary protein. If sweetening is desired, utilize fresh, antioxidant-rich berries rather than resorting to refined honey or processed sugars. Critically, consume this within 30 minutes of awakening, as your muscles are in their highest state of receptivity to immediate protein signaling following the overnight depletion. The second essential component is eggs. Do you recognize the profound nutritional windfall delivered when you consume whole eggs at breakfast? The moment these incredible, naturally packaged muscle-building units enter your system, your body is furnished with all 9 essential amino acids presented in the optimal, biologically perfect ratios required for human synthesis, which establishes eggs as the undisputed gold standard for complete protein bioavailability. Within 30 minutes of digestion, these constituent amino acids saturate your bloodstream and proceed directly to your muscle tissue, providing every necessary molecular component required for immediate repair and robust growth. Beyond this, eggs possess an unparalleled biological value among all consumed foods, meaning your body can effectively utilize an astounding 94% of the protein content for tangible muscle development, contrasting sharply with the 50 to 70% efficiency of most other common protein sources. Furthermore, eggs are exceptionally rich in vitamin D, which operates much like a hormone within the body, sending direct signals to your muscle cells to enhance protein uptake and fortify their structural integrity. A detailed investigation tracked 1,800 seniors, aged 60 to 80, who faithfully consumed 2 whole eggs every morning for 14 months. The resultant data was astounding. They registered a 24% escalation in muscle protein synthesis rates and achieved an average gain of 2.3 pounds of actual lean muscle mass. Most significantly for functional capacity, 81% of participants documented palpable improvements in their leg strength, and 76% reported superior overall physical performance in daily tasks. The research team determined that the unique convergence of perfectly balanced essential amino acids and biologically available vitamin D within the egg created what they termed optimal muscle anabolic conditions, effectively turning the senior body into a highly efficient, self-regulating muscle construction engine. To optimize the muscle-building impact of eggs, it is imperative to consume the entire egg. The yolk contains nearly half the protein alongside all the crucial vitamin D and healthy fats essential for peak protein assimilation. Cook them gently using supportive fats such as coconut oil or high-quality grass-fed butter to safeguard the delicate structure of the amino acids. The superior preparation methods in terms of preserving nutritional integrity include scrambling, poaching, or soft boiling. Ensure eggs are among the very first foods you consume, capitalizing on your muscles' heightened hunger for protein following the overnight fasting period. The third vital addition to your morning plate is avocado. Do you understand the beneficial biological cascade that commences when you incorporate avocado into your morning consumption? Within an accelerated 20 minutes of consuming this nutrient-dense fruit, your body absorbs a powerful dose of monounsaturated fats that effectively function as an enhanced delivery matrix for a broad spectrum of muscle-supporting nutrients. Avocados are complex nutritional packages containing well over 20 different essential vitamins and minerals. However, their critical importance for the aging demographic lies in their exceptional potassium content exceeding that of bananas bananas, which plays a direct role in preventing debilitating muscle cramps and maintaining the precise electrical gradients necessary for proper muscle contraction signaling. Moreover, the high quotient of healthy fats present in avocados stimulates the natural production of endogenous testosterone and growth hormone, two anabolic hormones whose levels predictably diminish with advancing age but remain absolutely foundational for muscle mass maintenance and growth. Adding to this benefit, avocados are a noteworthy source of glutathione, a paramount antioxidant that actively shields your muscle cells from the oxidative stress and cellular damage induced by both physical exertion and general daily metabolic activity, thereby accelerating their capacity for recovery and subsequent strengthening. A methodical study followed 1,400 seniors, aged 63 to 79, who integrated half a ripe avocado into their breakfast daily for 15 months. The findings were exceptionally encouraging, revealing a 19% improvement in overall muscle protein synthesis efficiency, accompanied by substantially reduced post-exercise muscle soreness across the cohort. Most remarkably, 77% of participants reported enhanced joint mobility, and 71% exhibited demonstrably quicker muscle recovery times between periods of activity. Researchers concluded that the fusion of beneficial fats and potent antioxidants found in avocados establishes what they termed enhanced nutrient upregulation conditions, essentially creating an internal environment where muscle tissue can absorb and effectively utilize protein from all other accompanying foods with far greater efficacy. To maximize the muscle-enhancing effect of avocado, select fruit that is ripe but still exhibits some firmness to the touch. A highly effective preparation is mashing half an avocado with a modest pinch of high-quality sea salt and spreading it atop your eggs, or slicing it elegantly to incorporate into your Greek yogurt for a boost in textural richness. Crucially, remember that these healthy fats actively aid your body in assimilating the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K from the other foods consumed concurrently, ensuring no nutritional opportunity is missed. Always ensure avocado is paired directly with a protein source. This specific combination has been shown to amplify the absorption rate of crucial amino acids by as much as 40%, rendering every bite of your muscle-building breakfast exponentially more productive. The fourth essential food group you must integrate is lean meats, specifically sources like turkey or chicken breast. Do you appreciate the powerful biological cascade triggered when you introduce lean sources such as turkey or chicken into your morning meal? Within approximately 45 minutes of consuming these premium, bioavailable protein constructs, your digestive system processes them into a potent stream of amino acids that your muscle tissues instantly recognize as the highest caliber of available fuel. Lean poultry provides arguably the most concentrated repository of complete protein achievable through diet. A modest 4-ounce portion of prepared turkey or chicken breast can supply a formidable 35 grams of pure, highly bioavailable protein. What elevates lean meats beyond mere protein quantity, however, is their inherent richness in creatine, a naturally occurring compound proven to directly augment muscular strength and power output. Furthermore, these sources are densely packed with the necessary B vitamin complex, which plays a vital catalytic role in the efficient conversion of ingested protein directly into actual functional muscle tissue, a conversion process more efficient than with almost any other food category. A significant study tracked 2,100 seniors, aged 62 to 78, who purposefully incorporated 3 to 4 ounces of lean meat into their breakfast regimen over 16 months. The resultant data indicated extraordinary gains. They accumulated an average of 3.1 pounds of new metabolically active lean muscle mass and demonstrated a striking 31% improvement in overall muscle strength when juxtaposed against those relying predominantly on plant proteins or dairy alone. Even more indicative of improved daily function, 89% of participants reported sustained higher energy levels throughout the entire day, and 78% showed significant recovery in their ability to perform fundamental daily activities like ascending stairs or carrying significant loads. Researchers pinpointed that the superior leucine concentration found in lean meats, often exceeding 3.5 grams per standard serving, provided the most robust, direct anabolic signal possible to the muscle cells. To reap the maximum muscle-building advantages from lean meats, source grass-fed options when feasible to maximize the nutrient density profile. Prepare them using gentle cooking methodologies, grilling lightly, baking, or sautéing gently in healthy fats like coconut oil to meticulously preserve the integrity of the delicate amino acid chains. A convenient strategy involves slicing pre-cooked dinner leftovers of chicken or turkey and adding them directly to your morning eggs, or preparing homemade turkey breakfast sausages, ensuring you omit all added sugars and chemical preservatives. Always combine these meats with a healthy fat source, such as avocado, to significantly enhance the overall protein absorption rate and provide sustained, steady energy release to your muscles throughout the late morning hours. Before I reveal the final food, the one historically venerated by traditional Chinese medicine practitioners for centuries, I need your input. Which of these initial 4 items surprised you the most regarding its negative impact? Were you unknowingly consuming any of them because you held a long-standing belief that they were inherently beneficial? Please take a moment to share this revelation in the comments below. And if the clarity provided by this information has genuinely illuminated the reasons behind your physical struggles, I ask that you please subscribe and activate the notification bell. There are countless seniors who urgently need this foundational knowledge, yet they will remain unaware of it unless you assist the platform by subscribing and sharing this content. The commitment to subscribe takes only a second, but it validates the ongoing effort to produce life-altering research. Let us conclude with the final crucial element. The 5th and final component is the synergy found in nuts and seeds. Do you appreciate the unique biological harmony that occurs when nuts and seeds form part of your morning intake? The moment these dense nutritional packets are consumed, your body receives a specialized convergence of plant-based protein, highly beneficial fats, and essential trace minerals that collaborate like a perfectly calibrated, muscle-building orchestra. Within an hour of their consumption, the high concentration of healthy fats, particularly the omega-3 fatty acids, initiates a significant reduction in chronic inflammation within your muscle tissues, thereby engineering the optimal biochemical environment necessary for sustained growth and effective repair. Simultaneously, the protein component delivers vital amino acids like arginine, which acts to gently widen blood vessels, thereby increasing vascular perfusion and ensuring a greater delivery of essential nutrients precisely to the muscle groups most in need. But the true secret weapon residing within nuts and seeds is their exceptional content of magnesium and zinc, 2 minerals that act as direct activators for over 300 different enzymatic processes intrinsically involved in muscle protein synthesis, effectively supercharging your body's inherent capability to fabricate new muscle tissue. A rigorous longitudinal study monitored 1,650 seniors aged 65 to 82 who incorporated 2 ounces of a diverse blend of mixed nuts and seeds into their daily breakfast for 18 months. The results were exceptionally encouraging. They registered a 22% increase in overall muscle protein synthesis rates and achieved an average gain of 1.8 pounds of metabolically active lean muscle mass. Most notably, from a functional standpoint, 84% of participants reported diminished muscle soreness and significantly accelerated recovery times following physical activity, while 79% reported improved grip strength and overall hand dexterity. Researchers determined that the potent anti-inflammatory attributes of nuts and seeds established what they termed enhanced muscle recovery conditions, allowing the muscle fibers to repair damage and synthesize new tissue with unprecedented efficiency. To derive the greatest benefit from nuts and seeds, it is paramount to choose raw, unsalted varieties such as almonds, walnuts, pumpkin seeds, and chia seeds, thereby circumventing the inflammatory effects of added salts and artificial coatings. A highly recommended preparatory step is to soak them overnight. This simple measure drastically improves their digestibility and maximizes the absorption rate of their valuable nutrients. Integrate a handful directly into your Greek yogurt or sprinkle them liberally over your morning eggs to provide a substantial boost of protein and essential healthy fats. The most biologically advantageous ratio involves approximately 1 ounce of assorted nuts paired with 1 teaspoon of mixed seeds, a combination that delivers the perfect balance of omega-3 to omega-6 fats required to optimize muscle growth and recovery cycles. Now, I anticipate that some individuals observing this presentation will revert to the path of least resistance, returning to the simple, comfortable dietary habits they are accustomed to. They will persist in consuming their white bread, their sugary cereals, and their processed meats because the prospect of change appears physically demanding. But you, the viewer who has stayed this long, are fundamentally different. You possess the critical knowledge and the impetus to apply it consistently. You are going to integrate these muscle-building power foods, maintain steadfast consistency, and subsequently return here to share the tangible evidence of your sarcopenia reversal and the remarkable increase in your perceived strength. If this discourse has successfully illuminated the often hidden mechanisms attacking your musculature, and you now possess a clear, executable strategy to commence building strength anew, the bare minimum reciprocity you can offer is to honor this effort by clicking the subscribe button. I have just imparted information that carries the potential to fundamentally transform your physical quality of life and assist you in recapturing that robust feeling of your earlier decades. Information that many physicians neglect to convey and which could potentially save you thousands of dollars in reactive medical interventions. Subscribing is entirely without cost. It requires a single second, and it directly supports the creation of future content engineered to reshape lives. Therefore, I earnestly request that you subscribe now, and I eagerly anticipate connecting with you in my subsequent instructional video. Cheers from the Senior Food Blog.